Hello, energy enthusiasts and clean energy fans. Welcome to Trina Talks, where we have short conversations that speak volumes. I'm your host, Melissa Kavanaugh, Head of Marketing Communications with Trinasolar US. On this episode of Trina Talks, we're diving into Trinasolar's 2026 solar module portfolio in the US market, covering residential, commercial, and utility scale solutions. I'm joined by Ethan Ely from Trina's product management team to talk about the module's advanced technology, performance benefits, and how they support US policy requirements. But before we plug into that conversation, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for new episodes of Trina Talks on the first Thursday of every month. Welcome back to Trina Talks, Ethan.
Hi, Melissa. It's good to be back with you.
Well, it has been quite some time since we were honored to have you on the show. We do love to catch up, especially on the product side of things, in order to really keep our customers and our audience up to speed with everything that we have going on. Before we do that, I wanted to ask you. I know that you recently had a trip to Colorado and participated in some product leadership presentations. What was that all about?
Yeah, that was the PV reliability workshop, which I think my first time going, but I think easily is one of the best conferences of the year and one of the most important ones for the industry. It's put on by the National Lab of the Rockies, formerly known as NREL, and they bring together all of what seems like all of the most important engineers and researchers in the module space, specifically focused on what are the issues with modules today and how do we address the reliability there. We saw a lot of great presentations. Everybody who attended presented a poster, so there was over 100 posters there for us to see what all the other companies are working on. It was a great collaborative experience where you can see everybody coming together, agreeing on some of the issues that the market faces, and trying to work together to actually address those. And I think it serves our portfolio as much as it serves everybody else's, and it provides a good baseline to talk about the ways in which our modules can address some of those reliability issues in the market.
Yeah, I can just imagine it is a collection of all of the really smart product technology leaders across the industry. And I bet it was really great to interact with some of your counterparts at other businesses.
Yeah, it was great. I agree. It was a lot of really smart people talking at a high level. It's one of those things that helps you realize that some of the things that you're focusing on exist
Hmm.
and matter to others as well. It's not just something that we deal with. So having that shared experience was awesome. And I just felt like contact knowledge just by being among those people. I was learning a lot.
Yeah, that's really great. So we have a lot to cover today, so let's get into it. To start, give us a quick overview of Trina's solar module lineup for US customers in 2026.
Yeah, I think we've got a lot of great things to talk about, and we've definitely been putting a lot of work into making that roadmap serve the needs of the US market, which are particularly unique these days. Really, our focus is on high efficiency, reliability, and like I said, alignment with the US market needs. We have our N type TopCon technology with the 210 millimeter cell size that really has become our calling card that we're using as the basis for all of our modules up and down market sectors. And we're taking that technology and applying it with US manufacturing options across the board so that we can have stable production, quick delivery, and of course meeting those domestic content and tax incentive needs.
Let's start with residential. Trina recently introduced the new Vertex S Plus module that's manufactured in the United States. What makes this module special?
Yeah, so this module is really an evolution of the Vertex S Plus platform that we've had in various iterations over the past couple years. So to that end, it has premium residential performance, durability, and premium aesthetics as well with that black frame and black colored modules. On top of that, it delivers up to 445 watts of power, 22.3% efficiency, all of which is created by that N-type TopCon technology that Trina is known for. On top of that, it is manufactured in the United States, so we have a reliable, consistent supply for installers and homeowners, as well as our distribution customers. And the time from production to delivery is very short. So we're positioned to really serve our customers' needs with that module and its positioning.
Yeah. So when we talk about residential installers and homeowners, what are the most important things that they are looking for in a solar module?
So yeah, I think that's an interesting area to really dive into because the needs for the residential market are really unique and separate from other markets. What we see homeowners and installers looking for usually centers around four things. So first of all, they want efficiency. They want the highest power that they can get for the smallest square footage on that space constrained roof. They also care a lot about appearance. A lot of people are putting these on a front facing area of their roof, and so they want it to look good and sleek. And so we really care to offer that with our black frame and our black colored module cells. Long-term reliability, of course, is super important, and installability. And that's specifically for the installers. They want it to be in a form factor that's easy to carry, easy to maneuver, easy to carry up and down the roof, and ideally can be done with just one installer rather than multiple people having to touch the module at the same time. So realistically, we want something that is dependable and also is something that looks good and works well for our homeowners.
So how does Trina's new Vertex S Plus address those needs?
Yeah, so first of all, it's using that N-type TopCon technology, which has that high efficiency and strong power output. That 22.3% efficiency is really a very strong and market-leading capability. So when you put the number of modules that we have on a roof, you're really maximizing the amount of power that you can get out of that square footage. In addition, this module, one of the unique characteristics about it is that it's a dual glass module. And so that has some pretty impressive benefits when it comes to reliability under various environmental conditions. We've done a number of testing steps with it. And with that back glass rather than a back sheet, it really protects it from a number of different kinds of environmental exposures, humidity, temperature cycling, all these kind of things. And so we feel a lot more confident in the performance of that module and the durability of it throughout the life of the warranty. As I mentioned, the all black aesthetics of the module are definitely a premium selling point. It's a very sleek, all black look to it that would look good as part of an array on a roof. And the dual glass module, specifically with that 1.6 millimeter construction, which adds up to 3.2 millimeters, that helps it reduce its weight such that it is less than 50 pounds, which is the OSHA guideline. With that sub 50 weight, one installer is able to walk around the roof and carry it on their own. Whereas if you went above that limit, you would need to have a second installer, and that really can be constraining on the roof. So we made sure to make it in a format that installers are used to and that is easy for them to work with.
Well, it sounds like in the product design and the technology that goes into it, we're really considering the needs of those installers who are, installing these on homeowners. But you mentioned the module featuring a dual glass design. Why is that important?
Yes, the dual glass is important because it protects the cells in a number of ways. Like I mentioned before, it has really superior performance in comparison to backsheet modules when it comes to various extreme conditions. So we've done damp heat testing, thermal cycling testing, UVID, all these things that are a concern of the market today. And it really does very well with that glass on both sides, sandwiching the laminate. It really prevents various kinds of moisture ingress or degradation that you might see on the module. And by doing it with that 1.6 millimeter construction, we don't have to sacrifice weight. So this really was the result of a number of different iterations, like you said, taking into account the homeowners while still trying to deliver something that was superior reliability. And that's how we landed on this construction.
That's great. And what about long-term performance guarantees? I know that's also really important for the homeowners.
Absolutely, and I think that's a calling card of this module, something that is an added value that we can provide here. Because of that, high performance that we see with the dual glass construction, we're actually able to enhance our warranty and take it a step further. So we have that same 25-year product warranty that people expect, and now we've upgraded our power warranty to 30 years, which is a direct result of the reliability and resilience that we're building in with the dual glass construction.
So, when we're talking about durability, shifting gears just a little bit here, I know we want to talk today about the Vertex N Shield module,
Yeah.
and it was designed for extreme conditions, right? Extreme weather. What makes the Vertex N Shield module different?
Yeah, so this is a module that is really unlike anyone we've produced before and unlike many that I see on the market in terms of the amount of robustness and reliability that have been built into this module. Kind of building off of our conversation about reliability to the various environmental effects, this takes it one step further. This is a 2.5 millimeter tempered glass module. And with that construction, it can resist all sorts of different environmental conditions, certainly a lot of the reliability ones we talked about. And on top of that, it is a hail hardened module. So it can take up to 55 millimeter direct hail impact directly perpendicular to that module. And then if you increase the angle of impact up to 45 degrees, it can take up to a 75 millimeter hailstone. That, for reference, is the size of a baseball. So we're talking about some pretty huge hail sizes that can be truly the worst case scenario is what it can handle. That performance is among some of the best on the market right now.
Right. And I think some of the visuals that I've seen out there when you're talking about hail resistant modules, a lot of times you see a comparison with a golf ball, but you just said baseball, which is
Yeah.
considerably bigger. So that is really that's something to really kind of wrap your head around. So for customers who are considering a product like this, what are the biggest concerns that customers usually raise when they're looking for or they're asking about a weather resistant module?
Yeah. So the customers that are talking to us and inquiring about this kind of module, they are really dealing with some pretty high risk and extreme environments. We're talking about uh, projects in the hail belt with some of that the risk
Mhm.
of large hailstone, like we discussed, or very high wind or high snow areas like the southern tip of Florida or areas at elevation. So what they need is not only a module that says it can meet that, but can demonstrate that it has the ability to meet that with some room as well, so some additional buffer. They're looking for the strongest module on the market, and that is what we're trying to offer with this one. Because when we're talking about hail damage or a storm that might be a hurricane level storm, these kind of things, they're rare, but when they come through your array, they can be extremely devastating. They can knock out half the modules on an array, and the financial consequences of that are significant enough that it's really worth it to put that additional reliability in the project upfront.
I know that the last couple of years at the RE Plus show, we have had a really high level of interest. We've had a lot of conversations with customers or project developers who are really interested in understanding this more. So, how does the Vertex N Shield module address these concerns?
Yeah, well, on top of the hail resistance that we discussed, it has a really extreme mechanical strength as well. So it can handle up to 7,000 pascals in downforce and 5,000 in uplift, which really, just for reference, is astronomical. I think that is that should be able to handle truly any project in the United States. Really worst case scenario capabilities, and on top of that, it is able to still deliver all the same benefits from a power and efficiency standpoint. This is really a very similar electrical structure to the modules
Mhm.
you might be familiar with. So it still has that 620 watts of power, 23% of efficiency, and all these additional benefits of reliability on top of that.
So, how does this extreme strength translate to project design?
Yeah, so when we're talking about these really extreme projects, we're looking at project loads and and needs that are really well above what is standard in the market. In some cases, you might have a demand load that is twice that of industry standard. And to that end, we have a module that sometimes doubles or triples the capacity of what other modules on the market are. I think one area to focus on is its applicability with trackers. So I mentioned the 7,000 Pascal downforce with trackers. Its capacity is positive 3,600 pascals and 3,000 pascals in uplift, which is really on the high end for a tracker, which mounts in a little bit of a less favorable position for the module. And that's achieved on 790 millimeter purlins. So for reference, there are three typical lengths that purlins will have on tracker designs: 400, 790, and 1400. Most modules, to reach the load that I just mentioned, would have to be on those long 1400 millimeter purlins. And even then, they might not really reach that. So if you're designing a project that would normally ask for those long purlins, you could bring this module in and use shorter, either 790 or 400 millimeter purlins. That's metal saved on the job. That's a reduction in racking cost that is really significant when multiplied over the course of the array.
Right. And the module's been independently validated, right?
It has, yeah. It's gone through RETC's Thresher test, which is, I think many are familiar with, a very rigorous extended reliability test, and it had exceptional performance. It was named as an overall highest achiever in RETC's PV module index, and it achieved that by getting less than 2% degradation across all of its tests, which is frankly difficult to do. And so on top of that, it also has some pretty extreme fire performance. This is an area where I think it really excels and maybe an under-discussed need, but whereas many modules reach fire type 29, this is a fire type 30. What that means is that for all tests that it had to do, the spread of flame test, the burning brand test, it met Class A performance. So it is truly top of the line and a really extended and improved fire performance.
So this Vertex N Shield module is really strongly being adopted by our commercial and utility scale customers. In addition to that, I think we should talk about one of our commercial and I guess utility uses it as well, but the Vertex N19 series module, I think, is one of Trina's staple commercial and utility project modules. Can you tell us a little bit about the Vertex N19 series?
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with that assessment. It's a staple. It's really our bread and butter, one that's been in our portfolio for a number of years at this point and has been very successful and well adopted by the industry. So because, like you said, it's a commercial and utility module, it occupies a nice kind of Goldilocks middle ground space. It has up to 620 watts of power and 23% efficiency. And it's in a medium format that can often work both for commercial rooftops or smaller fixed tilt projects, as well as those larger tracker systems.
And it is manufactured in the United States, which we know for our US customers is really, really important. So when developers and EPCs evaluate modules for their projects, what matters most to them?
Usually when those customers are looking for modules, they're really digging into the details. They are looking into every aspect of the module, and they want kind of that perfect combination of low cost, high energy yield, and a reliable supply. And let me tell you, when these customers come in and they look at all of our documentation, they really are honing in on all of the critical details. They're putting us through the ringer. And if I may say so myself, I think we're passing with flying colors. This is a module that is really able to hit all of those marks when it comes to reliability. The production reliability is really high, and it does so with a cost and an overall system LCOE that meets what these highly technical customers are looking for.
So how is the Vertex N19 series helping to achieve all of those really important performance metrics of these customers?
Yeah, so in addition to kind of all the standard Trina uh, high quality design and performance and production that is standard with all of our modules, this module has a low voltage design. So we did some redesigning the electrical characteristics to reduce the voltage, and what that can do is it can increase the number of modules per string. So maybe adding one or two modules onto that string that reduces the number of inverters that you need, and overall reduces the balance system costs, which can have a pretty important impact on LCOE. It also has really great low light performance, and a bifaciality that's all the way up to 85%. So all these things add into that extra production that you might even be expecting.
Wow. And what about long-term reliability? I know that's also really important to customers.
Absolutely. And I think with a module that has been around for as long as this one has, it has really had an opportunity to establish that long running reliability. It is regularly a participant, or it shows up on the scorecard, the PVAL scorecard, and it has been through a number of rounds of third-party reliability testing that show its high performance every time. It also has low degradation. It's the 1% degradation that first year and just 0.4% afterward throughout the 30-year life. So it has really demonstrated that it's a highly reliable product, not just through initial testing and promises, but through demonstrated performance.
Right. And that's the feedback that we hear so often from our EPC and construction company customers that are using the 19 series module over and over again in their projects. So I'd like to shift gears just a little bit and talk about our large utility scale project customers. So Trina offers the Vertex N, the 21 series. And what's different about the 21 series, or what sets it apart for our utility customers?
Yeah, really what sets this module apart is its size. This is a big module, and
Mhm.
this module really maximizes the amount of power that you can get out of a single module unit. I think it was when it came out, one of the first or the first module to cross that 700-watt threshold. And we've seen a lot of adoption of it over the past couple of years, with great success and repeated customers like you discussed. So really the point of it is to use a lot of the Trina characteristics that we've been discussing, but expand that to an even greater wattage per module, 720 watts, a slightly better efficiency of 23.2%, and all on our large format N type TOPCon cells.
And for utility developers, what are the key priorities that they have for selecting modules?
Yeah, so these customers, kind of like the customers of our 19 series, they want that perfect combination. They want to reduce LCOE as much as possible. They want to maximize energy production, and they want to know that this module is actually going to work for the life of the system. And they want to go
Mhm.
beyond what is just promised in the warranty. They want to really have confidence that this module is going to say what it says it's going to do.
Yeah, how is the Vertex N 21 series supporting the goals of these customers?
Yeah, so I mean, by being that large format module with those large cells, it is truly the best on the market when it comes to maximizing the LCOE in the system design. You simply get more watts per module, and that means less components and auxiliary BOS system components that need to go around it. On top of that, it has strong bifacial performance, excellent low light response, and overall delivers what we feel is the best system cost and project returns.
And what about reliability?
Yes, this is another module that has scored very well in the reliability testing. It has also gone through that PQP series, and when it went through that, was a top performer in every single category that it was tested in. So we feel pretty confident that this is a strong formulation of a module that meets all the needs and the concerns of the market.
So I want to transition the conversation to something that I know is really important and top of mind to all of our customers, from the residential side to commercial and utility scale. And that is US manufacturing and domestic content requirements as an industry in the United States. How is Trina supporting customers here?
Yeah, this is an area we've definitely invested a lot of effort into, as you mentioned, it's a hot button topic and of critical importance to our customers. So this is very top of mind and a primary focus with us. So as we mentioned, we have all of our modules are manufactured at US based facilities. And on top of that, we put a lot of work into de-risking our supply chain. So we stand ready to let our customers continue to claim those tax credits that are associated with it. On top of that, we've been investing a lot of work into domestic content, and we
Mhm.
have some very exciting things coming down the pipe for domestic content.
Yeah, looking ahead to Trina's domestic content roadmap, when can customers expect these next generation modules to be available? Is there a timeline for when customers will be able to start placing orders?
Yeah, well, that I can definitely give you a bit of a sneak peek there. That is a question that many of our customers ask all the time, and I've certainly fielded it. And I think we're now in a position to really talk more candidly about where we stand. In answer to the last question first, customers can actually start placing orders now. We are
Mhm.
currently accepting orders for all our modules to offer various levels of domestic content. And we expect some of these modules to start delivering in Q3. Our roadmap is really broad because we see that our customers have a lot of needs and varying levels of needs. So we have lower levels of domestic content all the way up to modules that can offer 45% domestic content ratios from that module alone. So we have a lot more coming soon. I'll look forward to being able to share more soon, but we stand ready to support our customers. And if they're interested, we're ready to talk to them.
Right. And it's safe to say that our operations and our team that's responsible for our supply chain and domestic content, they're working diligently. And I know from a call that I was on this morning with one of the sales teams, they're hoping that that Q3 delivery window, turns into the beginning of Q3, or, maybe even inches into the tail end of Q2. So we will keep our customers in the loop and up to date on where we're at. What you mentioned, one thing, Ethan, that maybe we can expand upon just a little bit, is the percentage of domestic content that's within the modules that
Yeah, absolutely.
we can offer support and guidance with our customers regarding the percentage of domestic content that's included in each module, and perhaps offer recommendations for other project level supplies that can help customers achieve the domestic content requirements for the incentives in the United States. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a number of different options, like I said, and because of that, there are a lot of ways in which customers can meet those requirements. And so we are, like you said, well versed in that language, and we're ready to help customers find the right mix, the right module, the right level of domestic content. And we also have partnerships with a number of other complementary components, such as the racking and
Mm-hmm.
inverters, and together we can help our customers get across that threshold and take advantage of these important credits.
So, thank you so much for joining me today, Ethan. Again, it's always a really great way to catch up on what you have going on in the product world at Trina.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure talking about it. It's fun to get a forum to do so, and I'm happy to come back anytime.
Well, we might take you up on that when we can share with our customers more modules that perhaps have that higher level of domestic content that we are hearing is coming. So, thanks again, and we really appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you. Looking forward to that.
So, we've covered a lot today, but it's clear that whatever your needs and pathway, Trina has the solar solution to maximize performance and reduce project costs. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Trina Talks. Be sure to subscribe and share this video with your project team. Until next time, may your LCOE be low, your efficiency high, and your systems optimized. I'm Melissa Kavanaugh, and this is Trina Talks.